Hello everyone, in the previous session of Node.js, we have talked about that Node.js is a framework, an environment where we write our JavaScript, and we have seen that they are various applications based on Node.js. Now, in this session, what we are gonna do is that we will see how we can build our very own server. But before we go into how we can build our server, let us go to VS Code, and I wanna show you something, right? So here let me open this code. Okay, let me open VS Code. This is my some other projects going on, so I will close this project for now. Okay, now here what I will do is that I will create a new folder. I will open a folder, let's say source. I don't know what this source is. Okay, let me make a new folder here, right? I will make a new folder, let's say web underscore dev. I have made a new folder. Now I will open this folder. In this folder I will create a HTML file. Let's say I am creating a index.html file. Now in this file I will write something. I'm just showing you how a server works. Okay, now in this code I will import my boilerplate code, and here I will write this is inbuilt VS Code server. Now what is a server? Whenever we type something in URL, now for example, let's say I'm typing, let's say I'm in Microsoft Edge, I'm typing Amazon.in, right? Amazon.in, I'm searching on Google or Microsoft Edge. Now you will see I will get the news related to my Amazon, and when I click on this website, now what is happening internally is in my browser I'm sending a call. I'm sending a request to Amazon server, and Amazon server is, you can consider as a database, or not exactly database, but a place where we store or where we tell our system that whenever we get a particular request, we want to send a response out of it. This thing, the system which takes a request and sends a output, sends a response in return, this thing is known as a server, right? And whenever I searched Amazon website, now you can see a request will go to Amazon server, and Amazon server will return me something in return, and that something is basically our website. I hope you are getting it. So this is the work of a server. Now whenever we create this file, whenever I'm creating HTML document or CSS JS document, when I run the file, what is happening internally is, you can see there is a symbol, run symbol. When I click on go live, a inbuilt server of VS Code will get on, and when the server of VS Code will get on, we'll get the website like this. Okay, so till now we studied HTML, JavaScript, CSS, Bootstrap, Node.js. In all this, we didn't build a server. We were using the inbuilt server of VS Code, right? We were using the inbuilt server of VS Code. Now in this lecture, what we are gonna do is that we will see how we can build our very own server with a framework called as Express. So let us begin our lecture from now on. I will try to upload lectures in a very regular basis. In this period there have been a lot of things going on. We have been applying a lot of things. I hope you guys are with us, right? So the first thing is, before we talk about a framework called as Express, let us talk about what is a framework, what is a library. You know, generally we developers sometimes interchange the words. Sometimes we use library, in some scenarios we use framework, but there is a very minute change between a library and a framework, right? A library is a collection of pre-written code. Both like library and framework are both basically same. Let's say I want to build a health tracking app, right? Nowadays I'm thinking a lot about health tracking app. Now in this health tracking app, let's say I want to import some functionalities. Let's say I want to import the data of a person. I want to build a code which imports the data of a person. Let's say some other developer X has already written that code. Then what I can do is that I will copy this code If the code is open source code, I will copy that code and I will paste it here. Instead of building everything from scratch, what I will do is that there is a pre-written code. I will take that and I will integrate it in my website, right? So this is the meaning of a library, and you can add library code wherever you want. Let's say this is the library. I can add my library in the initial stages of my website, or I can add at the very bottom, wherever I can add it. There is no structure, there is no order in using a library. But in framework, when it comes to framework, framework is also a set of pre-written code, but it follows a structure. It has to follow a structure. You cannot use a framework without following the order of that framework, right? So this is the major, or you can say very minor, like actually there is no like big difference between two, but this is the minute difference between a library and a framework. A library is a pre-written code and you can use this code to integrate anywhere you want in your website. But in framework is also a pre-written code, but you have to follow an order, you have to follow a sequence of things, right? And one of the best examples of a library is Axios. Axios is a API library. Like we have seen when we talk about API, in that we have talked about Axios. Now one of the best examples of framework is Express, and using Express we can build our very own servers. Okay, so the formal definition of Express is a node application. It is a framework based on Node.js that helps us making web application, and it is mainly used for server-side programming. Using Express we can build our very own servers. So before we talk about the coding part or how we can download our Express, there are 4 things which you have to understand, which you have to keep in your mind whenever you talk about Express. The first thing is Express does mainly 4 operations, or you can say 4 things, and one of them is, first, Express is a good girlfriend, or Express is a good boyfriend. It listens every time. Like whenever you send something, the only work of Express is it listens. It keeps like ears in listening, right? What Express does is it listens for upcoming request. It will check, okay, whether some request is coming in or not, right? The first work of Express is it will listen. Now the second work is, whatever the request I will get, let's say I am sending some Amazon.in, it is a form of a string. Now what Express will do is that it will convert it into a JavaScript format. JavaScript, you can say JSON format, right? So here I will parse the incoming request from script to JavaScript, right? Sorry, from string to JavaScript. Now the third thing is, based on the request, I will send the response to that particular route, right? For example, let's say I'm opening a website, and in that website I want to see contact us page. Now when I click the contact us page, now you will see a route called as contact us. This is a route in itself. A website, if you don't know routing, let me tell you, a website has many paths, right? For example, if you see Imaginary Hub X, which is our newsletter platform, you will see that there is home button, there is writers button, there is account creation button, there is subscribe button. So all these things has different operations, different paths. Like this, we call these paths as routes. Now based on the request, we will check the route. Okay, after checking the route, we will send the response to the particular request. So these are the 4 things, the 4 main things done by Express, and you have to understand it. You have to understand these 4 things in a very clear sense. First thing is, Express is a good boyfriend. It will listen. It will listen to upcoming request. It will always check, right? Whenever Express is on, it will check, okay, whether there is a incoming request or not. If there is a request, then it will check, okay, for which route the request is, and based on the route, it will give the response. Now let me show you an example also. Here we have opened our Amazon, right? So in Amazon, when I click on, I want you guys to observe the URL. Right now the URL is https// amazon.in, right? Now when I click electronics, you will see that I will get some different route, and the route is amazon.in/electronics and some long URL. So we call this path /electronics/something as a route. This is a route in itself. Okay, now what will happen is when I click the button, a request will go to that particular server, and that server will check, okay, user has given me some request, and what is this request, and where is the request, what is the route of that particular request, and based on the route it will give me the website. Like this our 4 main operations will work. Okay, you might ask now, Jaber, we have understood everything, we are genius in ourselves, right? Now how to download it, how to use Express. So to download Express, here we need to go to npm, right? Npm is a like JavaScript package, or you can say a library where we can download anything we want, right? Now we have to search for Express. You will see this is the website of Express, I guess. Yeah, this is the website of middleware. No, this is not. Express is double S. EXPRESS. Yep, this is the website of Express. Now read the documentation. Always if you don't know any package, then go to npm, search about that package, and in the documentation, real good developers, they will go and they will read it. So yeah, here in the installation process, this is a Node.js module available through npm registry and blah blah blah. To install this package, we need to write npm install Express. So here what I will do is that I will create a new folder in Windows C drive. I will open users daja, and here I am having something folder called as Express class. Let me delete it. Now I will create a folder, new folder, let's say EXPRESS Express underscore I will write class, or you can say lecture, LEC lecture, Express lecture. Now in this folder, first of all I will open the folder, VS Code open this folder. Where is my Express lecture? This is my Express lecture. Open it. Now in this to download our Express, we need to write let's say here I will open my terminal. In the terminal I will write here, let me close it. Yeah, this is the terminal I'm having. I hope you can see it. The current path which I'm in right now is C daja users Express lecture. This is the path I'm in. Now in this folder, if I want to download Express, then I will write npm install Express, and when I click enter, now the package installation will start. Now if you see found 0 vulnerabilities, then it is telling us, the terminal is telling us, okay, package has downloaded successfully. Now if you are downloading package, Express package for the very first time, then you will see the modules here, but in my computer defaultly all the packages will come in my home directory. My home directories, I don't want to make any confusion here, but you can see this is my home directory. Now in the home directory I will be having a folder called as Backend. In that folder, okay, not this one, I think packages or something, yeah, in that folder I will get all my packages. You can see node modules, and you will see this many node modules I'm having, right? So this is my default setting. Like I'm a developer who wants all my packages to be in one place, and there is a difference. Let me tell you, I don't want to create any confusion, but yeah, when you download a package, now that package is limited to that folder. For example, let's say here I'm downloading Express in my Express lecture. So when I download my package in the Express lecture, I can only use that package within that folder. I cannot use outside. But in most of the cases, when I do development, I don't know what packages I'm installing. So what I did is, I have made my settings in such a way that whatever I download, it will come in the home directory. Right, you can do that. I will provide the link in the description. By following that, you can do it. But for now, just follow me. All you have to do is that you have to create a folder. After creating the folder, just write npm install express and all the modules will get installed in the computer. Now what I will do is that we want to create our very own server. So to create our very own server, what I'm gonna do is that I will create a file called as index.js. Now in this file I will write my server side coding. Okay, let us see how we can use. Our installation process is completed. Now let us understand how we can use Express. So here I will search Express, not npm, expressjs.com. In this website you can understand how Express works. So this is the website of Express, and I have told you, right, the difference between a library and a framework is you can use library. Library is a pre-written code, collection of pre-written code, and you can use that code, integrate that code in your platform anywhere. But when it comes to framework, you have to follow order. You have to follow a sequence of things, and using that only you can run your application. And Express is a framework in itself. So this is the order that we have to follow. So what is the first line? We need to write const express is equals to require express. Let me write it. So I will split the screen. Now I will write first of all const express is equals to require express. Okay, now what this first line does, let me zoom in. Yeah, now what this first line does is Express is a package. Express is a package which we have just installed. Now there are many things in the package, right? There are thousands of functions, methods, all these things. So the first thing we are gonna do is that we will require all the code we are having in that package into a variable called as express. Now after creating a variable, we have to create a variable called as app. You can write app or server, whatever you want. So this line, this second line is the line which actually creates our server. So here I will write express, and whatever the things I have created or required in the first line, I'm making an object out of it. Right, I'm making an object out of it, and this second line will basically, this app variable is very similar to my server. This app variable will act as my server. Now after creating server, we have created our server. Now how we can run our server? There is a concept called as port. Here if you come, okay, the website is closed, but yeah, whenever we run a HTML file now, you will see some URL like 12.0.5. something /5000/2000. So this is a port. This is a port location. What is port is, let's say you have a mobile and you want to charge that mobile. So what you will do, you will take the cable, you will insert that mobile cable into the phone. So what will happen is a connection will get established between a charger and a phone using the USB cable. Like this, to create a connection between your code with the browser, there is a cable, and that cable is port. Port is used to establish connections. Okay, so here I will create a port, const port is equals to 3000. Okay, 3000, 8000, these are the classic ports. And what port does? Port establishes a connection. Okay, now after like creating our app variable, ports, all this sort of things, let us go back to our PPT now. In the PPT, the very first function we are going to study is app.listen. In Express, we have like various functions. Let me show you as well the functions as well. So here I will write const, or I will print console.dir, and I will print the app. Now app is an object right here. This variable is basically an object. Now object will have key value pairs, right? So Express will contain different key value pairs, and each key, along with each key, we will have a method associated with it. So here first of all I will run the program, and when I run the program now, you will see how I can close this debug console. Okay, yeah, you can see here I am having different functions, like log is a method, and for log, when I choose log, I will have some function associated with it. Like this, I'm having events, event counts. Like this, we'll have key value pairs, and for each key, we'll have a function associated with it. Okay, now I hope you have understood that Express object will have a lot of key value pairs, and each key is associated with a function, and each function will perform a task. Now what I told you just now, if you go 5 minutes back, Express does 4 things. First thing is listening. Now how you can tell your server that you have to listen? Using a function called as app.listen, and this function will listen for a particular port. Now you can see here what is our port number is 3000. So we need to write our port number, and whenever we get a request to that port number, let's say I wanna print something in my console, then I can do that. Here I will write, whenever I get a request on this particular port, my Express will give me a callback, and that callback is, let's say I'm printing console.log, and let's say server activated. I'm printing it, right? Now let me save it, and I will open my terminal. In the terminal, okay, now I will run my app. So here I will write node index.js. Now when I run this now, first of all let me comment it. I don't want to print all the functions, right? So let me save, and again here I will write clear. Now I will run the app. So here I will write node index.js. Just observe the terminal. In the terminal, whenever, like in the previous session, whenever we run the JavaScript file, what was happening? Our JavaScript got executed immediately, but here observe, JavaScript didn't terminate. It is going on and on. It means that your server, your Express, is listening for a request, right? Now when I send the request here, let's say my port number is 3000, right? So here I will write local host, and I will write 3000. Now when I run this now, localhost 3000, you will see I'm getting can't get something, and let's say in the place of 3000 I'm giving some 00 or 10,000 something. Now when I write localhost 10,000, I'm getting some error, or I'm getting some random website. But specifically if I give localhost 3000, I'm getting can't get. Why is that? Because in our index.js file we have created a server, and we have told the server how to listen, but we didn't tell the server, okay, if we get a request, send this response. We haven't wrote it. We haven't told our Express to do that. So what we are gonna do is that we will study the functions, how to send response, how to, if I send here, if I write here localhost 3000, you will see can't get. In the place of if I give 3001, then I will get error. Let me refresh it. You can see it is showing can't get, this site cannot be reached. It means that there is no port called as 3001, but there is a port called as 3000, and when I am going to that port, my Express is understanding, okay, this is a request, but it don't know how to give a response. Why? Because there is no response in the code. So here let us see how we can give response. We have understood how we can listen, but how to give response? So the function we are gonna use to send response, whatever the route might be, let's say I'm giving /help or /contact us, /write, /create, whatever the route might be, irrespective of the route. If I want to send the same response to my user, then I can use a function called as app.use. Using app.use, we'll have a request, and whenever we get a request, we'll send the response, and the response is this line or function or HTML file, whatever it can be, right? So here I will write app.use and I will write my request response. So request and its corresponding response. Now whenever I get a request, now let's say I want to print console.log, this is a request, this is a request, and I want to send request.send, let's say on the user front-end side. Before I write this line, let me show you how this thing will work. Okay, so here I need to restart my server in order to update the changes in my code. Whenever I do changes in my code, in order to make them reflect in my browser, I need to restart my server. So here I will restart it and I will write node index.js. Now our server is all right. Now when I go to this and refresh the document, you will see it is loading and the server is loading again, and you will see in the terminal it is showing me this is a request. Now if I want to send something to my user side, then I will use a function called as request.send. Request.send will show something on my user's end. Right here you can see I'm not having anything, but when I write, let's say I'm writing something, this is my first server response, I'm writing it. Okay, now let me save it and I will restart the server again. Clear node index.js. you will see server got activated. I will refresh the page again, and you will see when the page got refreshed, I am getting a response. This is my first request, first server response, like this I am getting, and in terminal I will get this is a request. Now I can also do that in my Chrome browser, whatever the browser might be, you can do it, right? So here you will see this is my first response. Like this our request response cycle will work. Now this function app.use now will work for any route. Let's say I'm giving /help, I'll get the same answer. If I'm giving /contact, right, I will get the same output. So irrespective of the route, if you want to send something to the user, then you can use app.use function, but it is not recommended, right? We most of the times, based on the route, you want to send some output, right? So here to do that, there is another function called as, we have understood how we can send request, called as app.get. No, there is another function called as app.get. Using app.get, you will send request based on the particular route. If a route is something, then you want to send some other thing. If a route is different, then you want to send some other output. Okay, so here let me show you. So here whenever we get a request, we are sending some output, and to send something on the user side, we use a function called as request.send, and in the place of some string, right now I'm sending a string, but you can do mathematical operations, you can send a complete HTML, CSS, JavaScript file. This is crazy, right? If you want to, let's say you have a package or you have a HTML file and you want to send it to user, then you can do that using request.send, and in the place of a string I will write index.html. right? Index dot the path of my HTML file. So this is crazy. You can send the entire document to your front end. Okay, this is a little bit confusing and interesting, but in the next lecture when we study about embedded JavaScript, we will see that. But for now, I hope you have understood what is app.use. Now for a particular request, let's say I have different routes. For example, in my browser, based on the request, I want to send some output. For example, I am creating a superhero website, and if I get a route name /Batman, then I want to send the information related to Batman. If I am getting a route called as Iron Man, then I want to send the information related to Iron Man. So based on the route, if I want to send something, then I will use a function called as app.get, right? So here this function is useful for routing. Here I will write app.get, and whenever I get a request of Batman, I will send a request response, response, and in the response I want to send something to my user. Let's say console or response.send I'm Batman, the greatest superhero of all time. Okay, now let me save it. Now after this, for Iron Man, if I am getting request for Iron Man, then I will write Iron Man and request response is equals to, and here I will write response.send I'm Iron Man, and I'm below Batman. I'm second favorite superhero, or second most popular superhero after Batman. Some of Iron Man fans will get offended here, but yeah, it is fun, right? So here I will close my server first and I will restart it. Let me clear all the things. Clear node index.js, server activated. Now I'm sending a request to my home directory. You will see there is a no route called as contact. Now what I'm gonna do is that I will write Batman. Batman is a route, so when I click Batman, now it is showing can't get the repository. Okay, here I need to give /Batman. In the place of Batman, I need to give /Batman and /Iron Man. Save it and again terminate your server node index.js. Server is activated now. I will go here and I will refresh the document. You will see when I give /Batman, I am getting the output I'm Batman, the greatest superhero of all time. And in the place of Batman, if I give /Iron Man, you will get the output as I am Iron Man, I am the second most favorite superhero after Batman. Like this, we'll get output based on our routes. For example, in the place of Iron Man, I am giving some other superhero, let's say Spider-Man. Spider-Man is not a route in our project, so when I click that, I will get the output can't get Spider-Man, right? So this is how things will work. This is how app.get function will work. Now the very next interesting thing we're gonna talk about is Nodemon. So till now we have understood how Express works, how we can like extract the functions in Express. Okay, got it, Javed. But there is a problem here. The problem is whenever I make changes in my code, what is happening is I need to restart my server again and again, right? And to tackle that, instead of like, let's say I'm changing a line, and for that particular line again I have to restart my server, again I have to write node index.js. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do extra work. So to tackle with this problem, we have introduced a new package called as Nodemon. Nodemon is also a package based on Node.js, and what it does is it will automate the server restart process. So to install Nodemon, we have to go to npm again, and in npm we're gonna write Nodemon, and this is the sample demo. Click enter Nodemon. Yeah, this is the Nodemon website. Yeah, this is the Nodemon website. To install Nodemon, we have to copy this line. So copy this line, and I will open my terminal. In the terminal, I will write Nodemon install. Now my Nodemon installation process will start. So here it is showing removed 4 packages, changed 29 in a second. Okay, now we have successfully installed Nodemon. Now let's say I'm running my server again, and what Nodemon does, it will automate my server process. So here I will write node index.js. My server is running right now, and you will see I'm getting port value, all these things, throw a error. Why it is throwing error? Okay, from now on I have to write Nodemon. So here I will delete all the things, and to run our server in Nodemon we have to write Nodemon. Okay, so here I will open another terminal, and in the terminal I will write Nodemon index.js. You will see my Nodemon has started, and whenever I make new changes, let's say I'm writing some rubbish thing, okay, I'm writing some something, so what will happen is that my Nodemon will understand, and if there is an error, it will tell immediately, okay, in this line there is an error, rectify it. So this is a little bit added advantage when we use Nodemon. So here let me remove all this. I will save this. Now you will see my Nodemon got activated, and whenever there is an error, remember Nodemon will get crash. Nodemon will crash your app immediately. So very specific, very clear, right? How Nodemon works, all these things. The last concept we are having is parsing. Let's say we have Instagram pages, right? So here I will open our Instagram page. In Instagram I will write instagram.com. I'm having Instagram page. Now Instagram of Apple, I want to see Apple Instagram. You will see this is the Apple's Instagram page, and at the same time I want to see Microsoft Instagram page, Microsoft Instagram. Okay, this is the Microsoft Instagram page, Apple's Instagram page. Now whenever I search something, now I will be getting /Apple. Now if I see the Jabir Hussain Instagram page, this is basically my Instagram. Okay, now you will see I'm getting thousands of accounts. Where is mine? Okay, let me search some other person. I'm not that much famous personality, I guess. Alia Bhatt would be good. Alia Bhatt Instagram. Now when I click Alia Bhatt, you will see the profile I'm getting is @Alia Bhatt. When I go to Apple, @Apple. No, now what is happening is, based on the request, the website is same, but the only change is layout. How we can do it? We can do it using a concept called as embedded JavaScript. In embedded JavaScript, what we do is that we will have a single HTML page. In that HTML page, we will make changes dynamically. Basically, it's a dynamic HTML. Okay, we will see that in next lecture, but the thing I want to tell here is we are not making the page again and again. Based on the request, we are just parsing the page, we are just modifying the page, the content on the page. So this is the concept of parsing parameters. Let's say I want to create some username or something, then what I can do is that I will write for this particular request. The username can be anything. The username here can be the Jabir Hussain or Alia Bhatt or Ranbir Kapoor, whatever it might be, right? If I want to parse something, if I want to show whatever the output might be, if I want to show the same thing, then we use path parameters. And the function we are using is request.params, right? Request.params will parse the given data into JavaScript, and we can use that data in our file. Here you will see whenever I'm giving apple, here in this platform, whenever I'm giving apple, I'm having apple here. Now whenever I'm searching Microsoft, I'm getting Microsoft here. So what here, Alia Bhatt account, come on Alia Bhatt, yeah, Alia Bhatt account, right? So based on the request, I'm showing something, and this is the concept of request.params. So when I give response, it is in the form of string, and my Express will convert that string into a JavaScript format, right? JavaScript format, and that JavaScript you can use it later on. For example, if I want to use that request in my database, then I can use it. If I want to create a middleware, I can do that. So all these things we can do using the concept of path parameters, right? You can try it out. I want you guys to try this code snippet which I have given here, right? This will work, right? Based whatever the output might be. Let's say I'm writing IG/the Jabirusen, it will work. I'm writing Alia Bhatt, it will work. I'm writing something Apple, it will work. The request.params is mostly used to store data. Let's say I'm giving some data in the URL and I want to store that data, then I can use the function of request.params. Okay, now the last concept is string queries. So this is an interesting concept. Let me go to google.com, not Google Ads. Okay, google.com. In google.com, let's say I'm searching about Batman. So I will write Batman, and you will see I'm having something called as google.com/some query, and for that query I'm getting some long string. So this thing is known as, this is actually a URL, but you can relate this particular line to string query. Based on a query you want to print something, then you can do it using the function get. Here let me delete this and close this. Okay, okay. Now what I'm gonna do is that, let's say for a particular query, let's say I'm getting /search, search. Whenever I get a query of /search, I want to here, for this particular request response, I will write let query. What is the query? Let's say request.query. Now if it is not a query called as search, then immediately I will send request.send no search query, no search query. Okay, now if there is a search query along with /search, then I will send request.send the search query is plus q. Okay, let me save it and I will run my server again. Terminal, Nodemon index.js. Okay, okay. First of all, I have written HS Nodemon index.js. I have activated my server. Now I will go to localhost 3000. I am not having any route. Now for this I will write search search is equals to, and I am searching, let's say Batman. Now you can see I am having no search query, but let's say in the place of is equals to, I will write something and I will click enter. Same here, no search query. Okay, here in the place of Batman what is the URL? Q !Q is equals to Batman. So here Q is equals to Batman. I'm giving something. Now you will see the search query is Batman. Like this, search queries will work. So till now, we have talked about what is Express, what is the difference between library and framework, what is Express, how we use Express, and the functions like app.use, app.listen, routings, ports, Nodemon, request parameters, and string queries. So this is a small lecture, 45 minutes lecture, but in the next session it is going to be a lot of fun. In the next lecture we are going to talk about embedded JavaScript. We will make our HTML dynamic. So with that being said, I will see you in the next one.